Hello students, so far we have studied all the details regarding food service establishments. Now to conclude this, we are going to talk about the laws governing food service establishments for the consumers. The main aim of these laws is to protect the consumers. So effective national food control systems are essential to protect the health and safety of domestic consumers. They are also critical in enabling the countries to assure safety and quality of their foods. The centralized processing of foods in large quantities increases the chances of contamination, which can be avoided by maintaining effective food inspection and surveillance system. Now let us see the need for food laws. Why should we have food laws in the first place? Now food laws are needed for 1. Safeguarding the health and maintaining the quality control systems, preventing contamination of foods during processing, avoid improper handling of foods, decreasing foodborne illness due to microbial activity, growing consumer awareness regarding food safety and quality issues, and increasing the demand for better information. One more is to establish a criteria for the quality of food products, since more foods were eaten after cooking than in the natural forms, because nowadays we get a lot of processed foods in the form of ready to eat curries, sauces and many other food products like juices, etc. We call them as a convenient food, where you can go to a store and buy it straight from the counter. Now let us see the importance of food laws. Now the first importance is the development of relevant and enforceable food laws. That means developing those laws which can be implemented in a day-to-day basis, and regulations is an essential component of a modern food control system. It is important to maintain the quality of foods to prevent exploitation of consumers by food sellers. The main aim of food laws is to assure consumers that the foods which are prepared and sold in the market are done so in the hygienic conditions. Now these help in protecting the public health by reducing the risk of foodborne illness or food poisoning attacks. They are also important to eliminate certain undesirable substances in foods. For example, recently we have come across several foods being adulterated with toxic chemicals, coloring agents, etc., and also pesticides, which might cause allergies and also food poisonings. Now let us have a detailed look at what are the existing food standards in our country. Food standards can be defined as a set of criteria that a food must meet if it is to be suitable for human consumption, such as what is the source of the food, the composition of the food, the appearance, freshness, permissible additives. In any kind of processed food we need to add additives, so how much quantity is safe, and maximum bacterial count. The most important food standards in India include one of the prime ones which we use almost in the food industry very often, is the prevention of food adulteration standard. Next, fruit product order standards, standards of AGMARC, Indian standards what we call ISI, and let us have a look at first prevention of food adulteration standard. These standards lay down minimum standards for all types of foods and are revised periodically to meet the requirements of the manufacturer and the consumer from time to time. Now any food that does not conform to the PFA Act or the standard is considered to be adulterated, and all these standards are set up by a group of experts including scientists, policy makers, people from the industry, etc. Now FPO standards, that is food products order standards. These are mainly concerned with the standards which are required for maintaining the quality of the fruit and vegetable products or any other products which are manufactured out of fruits and vegetables. Now these are pertaining to all those processed foods, and you will see the FPO mark on all foods such as jams, jellies, sauces, etc., where the licensee is given a particular number. It also specifies the conditions of hygiene and sanitation which are required to be maintained by the manufacturer while processing. In addition, specifications are given for labeling and packaging of the products also laid down. That is, not only what should be the contents of the product, but also how the contents and the composition should be displayed on the labeling. For example, the label should contain the name of the product, the name of the manufacturer, his address, the quantity of the food, what are the ingredients which are used, and also nowadays the nutritional composition. Now the main objective of these two standards, that is FPO and the PFA, is to determine the minimum level of quality. When the above minimum qualities is attained, they are identified by other standards set up by the government through Directorate of Marketing and Inspection. Depending on the quality of the product, they are graded as ordinary, fair, good and special products. The standards which identify food products as good, fair and special products are done under the AGMARC and Indian standards. AGMARC standards, these are formulated on the physical and the chemical characteristics or attributes of food, both the natural as well as those acquired during processing. Now, AGMARC is a mark of standard for all agricultural products, that is starting with spices, condiments and food products, food grains, legumes, pulses, oil seeds, everything it covers, including eggs, fruits and vegetables also. These standards ensure accurate weights and correct selling practices. Therefore, whenever you go to the market and look at any product which has got an AGMARC marking, it is understood that it is a standard or a quality product. Now, Indian standards, or what you call the ISI standards, are issued by the Indian Standards Institution. ISI has been since generations known as the mark of quality. It has been renamed as BIS, that is Bureau of Indian Standards, to give more statutory power for formulation and promotion of standards. Now, ISI standards also cover vegetable and fruit products, spices, meat, condiments, processed foods such as biscuits, sweets, flour, soya products, tea, coffee and other beverages. The standards are set up by Indian Standard Institution, whose certification mark is seen on all products, as I said earlier, indicating conformity to laid down standards. The ISI or BIS is the National Organization for Standardization and lays down criteria for products, materials, practices and also process. Now, so far I have covered the three Indian standards which are existing at the national level in our country. But let us have a look at the international standards, and the foremost among this is called as Codex Alimentarius Commission Standards. This Codex Alimentarius Commission was established in the year 1962. The Codex Alimentarius, which means food law or food code in Latin. The Codex Alimentarius Commission develops food standards, guidelines and related text such as codes of practice under the joint guidance of FAO and WHO Food Standards Program. It is also called Codex Harmonized International Standards due to the involvement of both FAO and WHO. FAO is the World Food and Agricultural Organization and WHO is World Health Organization. So, most of the time they work together. The dual objectives of the Codex Alimentarius Commission are to protect the health of the consumers and to facilitate the international trade. So, we call now the world has become a global village. So, what it means that whatever food material that we are selling in India is also available in America and the rest of the countries, so that more and more people can access the Indian foods or spices or condiments, etc. And also it is made available to the people of Indian origin who are residing in these countries. And we also have lot of products produced and manufactured in our country which are exclusive trademark. Therefore, they are being imported or sold in the other countries. But when we need to sell these in the other countries, we need to go through the standards followed or laid down by International Codex Alimentarius. It brings all together the interested parties like scientists, technical experts, governments, consumers and industry representatives to help develop standards for food manufacturing and trade. Let us look under this what is the standards regarding hygiene. When tested by appropriate methods of sampling and examination, the products shall be free from microorganisms which might be harmful. It should be free from parasites. It should not contain any substance originating from microorganisms, that is any toxins etc. in amounts which may be a representative hazard to the health. Now, Codex standards for fruits and vegetables. Usually fruits and vegetables may have pesticide residue due to their excess usage. Hence, proper washing is advised, but more than proper washing, there are minimum standards for the pesticides. Food additive sulphite, which is used in dry fruits, should not exceed 1000 milligrams per kilogram weight as per the joint FAO and WHO expert committee on food additives. Coming to certain orders which are existing in our country so far, one is Meat Food Products Order, or it is also called as MFPO. It is the regulation for the production of meat products which are covered by the Meat Food Products Order, which was promulgated by the Government of India in the year 1973. Now, the Directorate of Marketing and Inspection at the Ministry of Agriculture is the regulatory authority for this order, which is equally applicable to domestic processors and also importers of meat products. Species sanitation and hygiene requirements for slaughterhouses and manufacture of meat products are involved in this. It also contains standards for packing, marking, labeling, provisions for containers, what type of container should be used, should it be glass, should it be plastic, should it be metal, whether there should be a coating inside, all these are defined under this. It defines the permissible quantity of heavy metals, preservatives and insecticide residues in meat products. Now, Ministry of Food Processing Industries administers the Meat Food Products Order of 1973, which ensures quality and hygienic production of meat food products including fish. Now, next is Milk and Milk Products Order, which was promulgated by the government in the year 1992. The Milk and Milk Products Order is exercised under the Essential Commodities Act and is regulated by the Ministry of Agriculture through the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy and Fisheries. The production, collection, transportation, distribution and supply of milk and milk products are controlled by this order. The order sets sanitary requirements for dairies, machinery and premises, which includes quality control, certification, packing, labeling, for labeling standards also for milk and milk products. The standards specified in the order also apply to imported products. See, whatever orders that I am telling you about, they are not only for the domestic consumer in our country, but they are also for anybody who wants to import their products out of the country. Plus, they also have to go through the international codex standards. Every person who has the business of handling, processing or manufacturing of milk or milk products should provide proper labeling based on the certification by a certified officer. The label on the package of milk or milk product should contain the name, the trade name or description of the article contained in the package, that is, whether is it milk or is it curd or buttermilk, paneer, cheese, whatever is the product out of the milk which is manufactured, the name and business address, the holder of registration certificate and his number. As I said earlier, the net weight or the number of volume of contents. For example, we get milk as 200 ml package, 500 ml package and a 1 liter package. So, that quantity should be specified on the package. The batch or the code number, except in case of package which is less than 60 grams or 60 ml. Now, the day, the month and year of manufacturer, it is mandatory while the packing of milk to be mentioned on the packet, and any other product, that is the best buy date or the expiry date. The date of manufacture for packages containing sterilized milk and infant food also. Infant food is whatever we get in the market as lactogen etc., which is used for feeding the infants. A holder of registration shall not pack milk or milk products other than those processed or manufactured by him or those obtained from any other person holding registration certificate. That means anybody cannot have the authority to pack and sell any milk or milk product without the registration license obtained under this act. Let us look at the certification marks. Certification marks are stamped on packages of foods and food products, whether they may be ISI, FPO or AG mark, and recently from 2006 it has been replaced by a mark of FSSAI. You can see that very clearly on any products which you buy which have been manufactured after 2006. Any internationally recognized seal of quality. This helps the consumers to buy a safe product with confidence, and these marks represent the guarantee of quality. The inspections are carried out by the staff of Bureau of Indian Standards or the Directorate of Inspection in case of FPO and ADMARC certification marks. However, certification marks make it easier for the caterer or any food consumer to purchase items, that when we are buying any food product, when we see the certification mark, we are assured of the quality of the food, that yes, whatever mark has been put, it is an assurance of quality, and without doubt we believe totally in the quality of that product. The buyer of fresh foods has to buy whatever is available in the markets, even at the cost of being misguided by the suppliers. They also may ignore the presence of natural toxins, contaminants deliberately added to the food at the various points from farm to the market. Let us look at the legislation which protects the buyers against the abuse of monopoly position or the restrictive practices through establishing greater competition, controlling the prices and enhancing the quality or encouraging the product innovation. So, in the market when there is competition and people start buying only the quality related product, then definitely everybody will be encouraged to produce a product which is high in quality, because the quality product is getting higher sales. Certification marks on processed food is not enough, but also to be aware that even these may be violated by the manufacturers. The Trade and Merchandise Act 1958 provides a safeguard and to help the buyer for quality of food as well as to protect the genuine manufacturer. Trade and Merchandise Marks Act 1958, let us see the details. Under this act, any person who deceptively uses a registered trademark can be held responsible for violating the trademark rights of the genuine manufacturers. It is liable for civil as well as criminal proceedings in the court of law. Sale of Goods Act 1930, catering establishments are involved mostly in the sale of prepared food and drink. Another piece of legislation is Sale of Goods Act. The provision of Indian Contract Act continues to apply contracts for the sale of goods. It is a contract whereby a seller transfers or agrees to transfer the right of ownership of the goods to the buyer for a price. When the contract is completed, the contract is called a sale, but in case of transfer to be made at a future date that is subjected to encashment of checks or other conditions, the sale is made when mutually agreed conditions are fulfilled. Implied conditions in a contract of sale may be varied by a verbal agreement or the manner of dealing between the parties. If the contract contains any special terms as to delivery and acceptance, these have to be complied with. If not, then the delivery of goods and payment for them must take place at the same time as in cash sale over service counter. Food service managers are equipped with the knowledge of what and how best to buy in food and with the standards of hygiene and sanitation. Now, apart from laws related to food, in the food service establishments, labor laws are also involved. Now, coming to labor laws, it can be defined as an area of the law that deals with the rights of the employers, employees and labor organizations. Legislation concerned with the employment of people started in India over 130 years ago with the Apprentices Act of 1850, which created an obligation on the part of employees to safeguard their welfare and training them for required skills. With the growth of industrialization came the Fatal Accident Act 1855 to compensate employees' families in case of fatal accidents which occur at the workplace. Breach of Contract Act, it was promulgated in 1859 to deal with the conduct of employees, like employees leaving the organization suddenly without any notice. Employees and Workmen Disputes Act 1860, this act was introduced to settle any grievances arising at workplace between the workers or between the employers and employees. At present, there are 110 laws covering employment and working conditions of employees, with amendments appearing from time to time which keep up with the changes in the living and working conditions of the people. Registration of establishments. The primary obligation of every establishment that it should be registered with the government so that it has legal sanction to run or operate as a place of public service of selling of foods. Registration of establishments may be carried by municipal corporations of that particular region or controlled by a central government department depending on location and size of the facility. Information that has to be filled by the owners should be submitted along with the registration fees. Every caterer needs to provide following information to the registrar office: name of the employer or manager, area of the premises, address of the premises, value of the premises, water and light connections existing or which are required, number of employees, medical facilities to the employees, contribution of the employer to the provident fund and other insurance schemes, postal address of the establishment, name in which the establishment should be registered, the name of the restaurant, that is, and category of food service, whether it is a small business like a roadside eatery, kiosk, coffee shop, cafeteria, restaurant, hotel, etc. Then laws which are pertaining to the welfare of the employers. The areas primarily covered by legislation for employees are Working Conditions Welfare Act, Health and Safety, Harmonious Working Relations payments, working conditions. The Shops and Establishment Act 1954 covers the conditions of work which must be provided by all employers in catering establishment. Working conditions refer to fixation of working hours, regular and timely payment of wages, paid leave, creation of a healthy working environment through provision of basic necessities such as toilets, washing facilities, restrooms, comfort at work, and the establishment for good human relations. The Act requires every employer to specify the hours of work each employee is expected to put, ensure that no one is required to work more than 5 hours at a stretch without at least half an hour break, or 9 hours on any single day, or 48 hours in any single week. In case it becomes necessary in conditions of emergencies such as staff shortage, strike, etc., for which people should work for long hours, and no person should be made to work more than 54 hours in a week. Every employee must have a fixed duration for lunch break, 45 minutes to 1 hour. Every employee must have at least 24 hours off in a week with full wages. The periods during which wages will be paid every month need to be specified, and payment is expected to be made promptly every month. The Act prohibits children from being employment, that is, child labor should not be employed in any part of the food service establishment. Any establishment employing people less than 18 years of age would be considered to be violating the law. Staff welfare, which covers the Factories Act 1948, covers the obligation of employees regarding the comfort and welfare facilities. This act applies to all establishments which employ more than 10 workers. It also applies to the premises where 200 or more employees work, even if no electricity is used. It does not apply to premises operated by self-employed persons or their families. The Factories Act expects to provide minimum safeguards for safety, health and welfare of people at work. Washing facilities for staff along with toilets, etc., and first aid facilities should be provided. Now, the employees with regard to leave should be given annual leave at the rate of 1 month's salary for every year for permanent employees. Uniforms must be also provided. Employee State Insurance Act also takes care of the provision of benefits to employees which are financed from contribution of employers. The benefit is also expected to be paid in the form of pension to the dependents of workers who may sustain fatal injuries during work. This act applies to all food service establishment employing 20 or more persons and covers all employees whose monthly wages do not exceed ₹1,000 per month. Other benefits include canteen, housing facility, legal, purchasing services, etc. All welfare activities should be designed to the needs of the employees. Health and safety. The Factories Act also lays down conditions to safeguard the health and safety of people at work. To ensure a healthy environment, the following are necessary: cleanliness, disposal of waste material, ventilation, proper working, hygienic working condition, enough lighting, running water, clean drinking water, proper toilet and washing facilities. The safety procedures, as we have already seen some of them: periodic maintenance of electrical appliances, proper placing of firefighting equipment, its regular maintenance, establishing good working habits and safety policy. Apart from this, adequate sanitary facilities also, and eradication of rodents, insects and pests of all kinds. The Directorate General of Health Services is responsible for setting up inspection cells to ensure the health and safety of the environment and the working conditions for the employees. The Act outlines the measures for preventing or settling grievances and disputes, prohibiting strike and lockouts, negotiating terms and conditions on behalf of employees and employers. We also have, since catering is a fast growing industry, the workers are becoming members of trade unions. So, the Trade Union Act of 1926 is also applicable. Now, let us conclude this regarding the laws of the food service establishment. Laws relating to food service establishments play a pivotal role in catering industry. They are designed to maintain quality and of the food and the final product and assure that they are free from adulterants, chemicals and bacterial contamination. Finally, legislature is required for safeguarding the health of both workers and the consumers. So, I hope you had a very comprehensive understanding of all the laws and standards which govern the food service establishments.